This guy achieved big success in everything he took part in. From just an average player to the best Dutch protos in StarCraft 2. From a guy who makes a living of esports to the champion who dominates tournaments. From a skillful pro player to a very charismatic YouTuber. Today we'll have the story of Harstem. We'll hear some insights from him and you'll learn a lot of useful things for yourself. Kevin started playing StarCraft 2 quite early in Wings of Liberty, but his path in the esports and artist genre started in Warcraft 3. Back in the old days, the Dutch scene was divided between two best players of that time, Red and Grubby, who were winning every local tournament, so Harstem was taking an example and kept on learning StarCraft 2 slowly.
First memory of StarCraft 2 is when I heard about it while playing Warcraft 3. A bunch of my friends that were pretty good at Warcraft 3 were talking a lot about it. I was a Warcraft 3 elitist, so I didn't really want to have anything to do with StarCraft. I hated people that played Brood War. I'd always get on fight with them on forums, so I was like, nah, no shot I'm playing that. Then I saw one of my good friends play it and I was like, alright, never mind. I want to do this as well. So I got a beta key at some point and I started playing.
And already in 2012, Harstem was getting closer and closer to being a top contender in the European region. Soon he was acquired by Fnatic, one of the most prestigious UK teams in 2012, and this helped Harstem continue his esports career. However, his results were somewhat disappointing in the next 3 years. While he was steadily improving, the competition was too tough in StarCraft 2, and most tournaments were dominated by Korean players.
Back then I think you had Grubby, you had Red, you had Uthermal, and I think Poyo also was pretty decent when I initially started playing. So yeah, it was very difficult. Any Dutch qualifiers I never made it in because Grubby and Red were simply better than I was, and otherwise Uthermal most of the time would take me out as well. So yeah, the competition was very tough. Until I won a Dutch StarCraft League in 2014, I think it was.
And Harstem, look at him! Look at him! Oh my God, such happiness! Your DSCL champion!
In 2016, things changed for our hero. The scene became less stacked as many European players retired, and this includes Dutch legends such as Grubby and Red. The same happened in South Korea, but the only difference was that the scene had been hit with a huge match-fixing scandal. Check out more about it in this video. Back to Harstem, he started improving really fast.
So I think one of the experiences between 2012 and 2015 that really increased my skill was that I went to Taiwan for a couple of months to play in the Taiwanese esports league. And there I basically had nothing to do, no one spoke the language. So I just played StarCraft like 12, 13 hours a day. I slept very poor there as well. So the conditions were very far from optimal. I remember having a lot of bad nightmares while I was there as well. Because I had so little sleep and I don't know, just the entire setup was honestly pretty bad for a living, but it did force me to play a lot of games. So I think not during that period I improved a lot, but right after. I noticed my mechanics were a lot better than before. So I think that was like kind of a main point where I improved a lot. I think my limitations were that I always was very one-dimensional in a way where I believed that one strategy would be the best in a matchup, and rather than mixing up my strategies, I very often ended up playing the same strategy again and again and again.
His first amazing run was in China. Coming as an underdog, Harstem quickly went through the group stage and playoffs to dominate the whole event.
His army is going to seek to press forward and limit Harstem's space.
Oh my God!
That's so massive.
Going down for Puck, and all of a sudden Harstem has got a massive lead in initiative in this game, and Puck plummeting in supply. Force fields go down there to buy some time, but the Immortals, they have no shields left, and right now he is trying to get out of there. Aggressive blink forward here from Puck as he pounces on the opportunity. More disruptor shots going down, but all of a sudden Puck losing everything in the backbone of that
Pushing
army.
up the ramp. A lot of corrosive bars going down, but is it going to be enough? I do not think so. Starstar's coming in, Phoenix picking up those queens, and that's a lot of Immortals for Harstem.
Oh, the Speedlings flooding in from the right-hand side. That single Archon destroying them, ripping them to shreds. So many Ravagers lifted in the air, can't launch their corrosive files while they're disabled, and Snoot is forced out. Harstem takes his first championship in Legacy of the Void.
Absolutely phenomenal performance by the Dutch Protoss representing Invasion Esports. Harstem with the tournament run of his life takes out Snoot 4-1 in the grand final. What a guy!
What a guy! Stellar play from Harstem. This is his championship.
Absolutely beautiful.
If I think back of GPL, I had a pretty easy bracket. I got lucky in the initial group stage. In my match against Iasonu, I should have lost in the rematch if he had played better builds, but he didn't. And then the rest of my bracket, I honestly got pretty lucky with who he played. I had good build orders against Zerg at the time, and I was deadly afraid of Terran, and I don't think I played against a single Terran in that entire tournament, so I got extremely lucky.
Only a couple of months later, Harstem appeared at Home Story Cup, but nobody believed he's gonna win or even advance far in this tournament. But once again, Harstem surprised everybody with his amazing games.
To be honest, I've never expected you winning a tournament at Home Story Cup.
When it came to Home Story Cup, I do think my skill level there was quite high, but my PvP was absolutely god-awful. And I only played a single Protoss in the entire tournament, and that was in the first group stage, Gong Fu Banda. And I should have lost to him, but I didn't. And then I ended up winning the tournament. So I should have been knocked out in the first group stage, but instead I won. I do think my skill level was a little bit higher than it was before, and perhaps also than it was after. But I do believe that a lot of luck was involved in both of those wins. You know, sometimes you just get very lucky, and I think I got very lucky there.
The year of Harstem was in full swing. The captain got his second Premier tournament, and he finally took his place amongst the best foreign players. By the way, why is he called captain, and why every year is a year of Harstem?
I think it's a show match that I played on some... I remember that I believe Jorasar and Medals casted it, and it was between me and Nama. And you had like I think a hashtag for both, and then you had the year of Harstem, and Nama also had something. I can't even recall if I won that show match. It was like some Fnatic battle or something, because both me and Nama were part of Fnatic. And then I think after that, like, I would qualify for something and people would start spamming it just kind of for banter, and the meme just kind of stuck around. At this point, I think it's probably one of the oldest memes in StarCraft 2, at least that I'm aware of. I don't think there's any memes that have been around for this long and still get used as much. So that's kind of cool in a way. So in 2017, I think, we went to Valencia for DreamHack, and we stayed afterwards with a couple of the guys from StarCraft 2, just go clubbing and swimming in the sea and having a couple of drinks for like 4 or 5 days. And on the final night, we did a pub crawl, and a guy selling hats came up to me. And I negotiated with him for absolute, what felt like hours, but probably was not more than 2.5 minutes, where we just kept upping and downing the price. And eventually I think I got it for €5. It was a hat that said the word capital, so it didn't even say captain. And then I took that hat to the Home Story Cup, which was like 5 days later. And because it was kind of an in-joke in our in the StarCraft 2 friend group, we all just kind of passed the hat around for fun whenever someone would beat another, or we'd play with the hat on. And then people just started calling me the captain. I kind of think that's where it came from. Or maybe I already was called the captain before, and that's why I bought the hat. But it's so long ago, I don't really remember it, honestly.
So this was the peak of Harstem's career. A high that he achieved would never be in his reach for the rest of his years in StarCraft 2. And while it doesn't mean that Harstem dropped in skill or something like that, it's just that the scene got resurrected by free-to-play change, and StarCraft 2 got more competitive than it ever used to be. In 2017, Nib was dominating everywhere, and in 2018, Cyril took over and crowned himself as the foreign king of StarCraft 2. And we also had other great players, such as Laser and Special, who certainly deserve a mention.
A large thing that changed is that Neeb was extremely dominant the year after, and then we just got way better skilled players in the foreign scene. I think in 2016, 2015, basically everything was possible. You could basically beat everyone, and now I think there's a certain amount of players that are just a lot better than the rest of us, or at least a lot better than I am. So making a deep run pretty much always get stopped by one of these guys. If you have your lucky bracket, if you have your good day, you almost always end up going either against Clem, Raynor, or Cyril, and they pretty much stop your party. So yeah, I think that's honestly the main thing that I can think of.
Anyway, Harstem still remains a very competitive and hard-working person, and he appears at most important tournaments in StarCraft 2. He was also part of the recent IM Katowice 2023, and while he might not be placing as high as he used to, he is still striving to prove he's capable of big wins in 2023. But you probably know Harstem from the other side. He's a very popular StarCraft 2 content creator. He's actually number 2, being only behind Loco in English language. He currently has more than 100,000 subs, and his success on the platform derives from his charming charisma and a broad range of unique and interesting formats. So what's his secret? Harstem is a big gift to the StarCraft 2 community for many reasons, but the main one is his passion towards the game and his diligent work. Imagine this, Harstem is happily married, but he's also practicing a lot on StarCraft 2 to win championships, and he also runs 2 YouTube channels, uploading 1 video per day on each, and he's really productive and his multitask is good in real life too. He takes little rest and he's very eager to make a difference in our StarCraft 2 community, and his infinite passion and creativity is what makes him such a treasure for the StarCraft 2 scene.
I'll reevaluate after Katowice 2013 to see what I'll do for the upcoming years, but I truly enjoy competing, so I think I'm gonna stick with that for a little while, and kind of keep the YouTube channel on the back burner. A lot of my creative formats, honestly, is just I just watch other YouTube videos of different games, and I think, how can I twist this into StarCraft? Or sometimes I think of something that I find interesting myself, and then I don't know, you just kind of do it. And I talk with Hamster every single week to. If he has something, we can do that as well. Honestly, most of the like rank roulette, I think Hamster and I kind of had those ideas separately, but he really pushed for it hard. I was like, hey, this is a sick plan. I think we should do this. And then there's a couple of others as well. I think Hamster has a lot of ideas in general that I don't really have. And then the other stuff, I don't know. You just kind of come up with it. I don't know where ideas come from. Probably somewhere in my brain. What I like the most about producing content is that I think it kind of sets some type of routine when you feel kind of forced to make a video every single day. So I have 2 channels, so I produce 2 videos a day usually, except on the Wednesday for my main channel, because that's where I stream on YouTube instead. So it's like kind of a set routine, and that's immediately also the dislike. Whenever I travel somewhere, feels like I kind of have to, keep up the obligation. So whenever I take like a 2-week holiday, it means I need to prepare 28 videos, which can be a lot of work. And then rather than it being fun and something of like a creative endeavor, it often feels like more of a chore. Still a fun chore because I'm playing StarCraft 2, but it can be a little bit stressful at those times, especially before tournaments, where ideally I want to be focused as much as possible on preparing for the tournament rather than having to prepare videos for every single day while I'm not at home.
Nobody knows what to expect from him in 2023, whether Harstem will be able to break the curse and become a champion or not. The competition is also at an all-time highest, both in game and in YouTube segment of StarCraft 2. But one thing is for certain, 2023 is the year of Harstem. And that's it for today. Check out the story of the best Latin American player special, and as usual, have a nice day and see you next time.